inside and outside of the classroom. After graduating from high school, she earned her undergraduate degree from the University of Texas at Austin, became a teacher, and quickly received a master's in professional counseling at Texas State University. Her educational journey did not end there. While working as a counselor and administrator, Dr. Johnson earned her doctorate in educational leadership from Tarleton State University. Through all of this, she has found time to be present with her family and friends and stay connected to her community. She has the most adorable children and a loving husband who is also an educator. Through all of, okay, I'm just getting choked up because I know her personally and she's wonderful. There are tons of stories I could tell, but we won't go there today. She is not only passionate, intelligent, and trustworthy, she is also kind, patient, and practical, all of which make her an excellent teacher, counselor, and leader. It is with great honor that I get to introduce to you my esteemed colleague and friend, Dr. Qunisha Johnson.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So it is such an honor to actually be here for this particular conference. You guys are what I like to call my people, because in most of my career as an educator, it's been as a counselor. So I was a counselor for 10 years, and I learned everything that I do now from being a counselor. I didn't learn it from being an administrator. I didn't necessarily learn all of it from being a teacher, but just being a counselor, being in that role to see people in their raw state, right? In their most natural state, what to do with that, how to hold that space. It's a skill, and everybody cannot do it. So because you're here, you're already unique and special. You're already above the rest. And today, I really thought about what are we going to talk about, and it's about mission control. So the title, we'll get to it, but mission control is a team, not a person. It's so key because we're talking about SEL, right? We're talking about social emotional learning. And social emotional learning is not one lesson, it's not a lesson a month, but it's a whole system, a whole program. And so it's something that most people take for granted. And most people do not understand the capacity, the weight, or the importance of what is needed for that. So before we get started though, I figured you might need to know a little bit more about who I am, because I'm that type of person. I don't really want to talk to you or know about you or listen to you until I know who you are, right? You gotta show me who you are. And so this is actually a picture one of my friends made for me, because at the time I was doing everything. Anybody does all the things all the time, right? All the things. So I like to say I am the juggler. I juggle all the things. So as you can see here, there's my family. I do have 3 kids with my husband, who's actually back there. I was going to school. This is one of the first few years I'm not learning from somebody else. I'm not in a class. So that's unique for me. I am an administrator. This was from Midway, but now I've moved to J.H. Hines Elementary as the associate principal, and I do often speak to other people because I think it's important. I think it's important for us to share our experiences. We are all experts of something, okay? You're the expert of the experiences that you have, and you can impart knowledge upon someone else. Among those things, I consider myself an advocate. I'm an advocate for anybody. It's not just a certain population. Everyone needs to be their best self. Everyone needs to be seen in their best way, and everyone needs to be given the opportunity to reach their full potential. I'm also a consultant. So when things go wrong at school or things go wrong for my parents, I am quick to step out of that I'm the administrator hat to go into that consultant hat, because at the end of the day, when my parents leave my school or those kids leave me, those parents need to be equipped. They need to know how to advocate appropriately and get things done, right? Because we all know, they know something I don't know, and I know something you don't know, and we have to come to the table. So that's just a little bit about who I am. I do juggle many things. I am in the community. I do a lot of work in North Waco and in East Waco, Midway High School, K-12, and graduated from there. So Waco has a big piece of my heart. Now, on to what we're talking about today, mission control. So mission control is a team, not a person. And you see there's just this one guy in this mission control. Obviously, there's not a mission going on, right? Because if all those bells and whistles went off all at the same time, it'd be a little hectic. But you know what? That's a lot of our lives. It's just us. It's just you. The way we set it up, it was just you, and all the bells and whistles are going off at the same time. And then you're like, how do I make sure that everything is getting done? How do I make sure that all of the pieces that I wanted to put into play are actually happening? And after a while, we get burned out. We do. I've been there. I was the lone counselor. I've done elementary, I've done middle school, and I've done high school. All of them. And in every single one of them, somehow I ended up feeling like I am just me. Somehow. And that weight and that pressure, he's chilling. Because there's no mission. But every day you walk into your school, you're on a mission. Every day that you see a student, you're on a mission. Every day you go to HEB and that parent found you, and you're like, I thought I found the store that nobody goes to. Okay? You're on a mission. So, how do we make that team happen rather than you just being by yourself? So here's our agenda for today. How does SEL connect to the school's overall mission? And we're going to also talk about what's considered upstream solutions. And then finally, being the change for SEL programs. We've got to change the mindset of what people see an SEL program as so that you can fully launch. Okay, part of it is that they don't know. It's okay, y'all. I'm now on the administrative side, so I've talked to a lot of them. They don't know. They don't fully know. And it's not their fault, okay? They go to classes, but they don't go to classes like we went to classes, okay? They didn't get the skills like we got the skills. So we have to be able to bring it to their attention. So, what's the mission? It's the how of the vision. And I do pose a question, do you know your school's mission? Most schools have a wonderful vision, and in that vision, everyone envisions the student that is graduating, that is ready, that has all the skills, all the emotional capacity to do everything, because we are all raising the next president that is going to bring forth all in world hunger. They're going to change everybody. There's going to be no more problems. We're all raising those kids in our schools, right? At least that's what the vision says. That's what the vision says. They're going to be able to take on every single new job that comes out there without a problem. They're going to take on their frustrations, and they're going to be able to handle it and move forward. That's what the vision says. And so therefore, we have to give a mission. So I want y'all to take a look at a few of these. Prepare students to become productive members of society who positively impact the world around them. That sounds wonderful. Teach so that students learn to their maximum potential. Amazing. Graduates are academically prepared for college and for post-secondary opportunities and possess the skills and habits needed to be prepared for a life and career in the 21st world that they will encounter. Does that sound amazing? I want to be that graduate. I want to be that kid. So these are actual missions. I have not put the names to protect those, you know. But these are actual missions in our region. Take a look at these. We're going to serve, lead, and grow. Teach the whole student, recognizing diverse learning styles and abilities. By setting goals, students achieve academic excellence, assume personal responsibility. Assume personal responsibility and commit to being a lifelong learner. By working closely with the parent and members of the school and community, we expect all students to become stewards of an ever-changing global society. Ooh, a steward. Okay. And empowering students to thrive academically, emotionally, and socially in a safe, nurturing learning environment. These are missions. These are missions of schools in Region 12. Right here, these are our missions. These are our missions. This is what we say kids are we're going to create this space because we want these products. So in everybody's mission, they kind of put a little glimmer of their product, right, inside of it. So These are the products. So I want you guys to just take a moment, talk to someone next to you. Just what are some things you notice about those missions? Just at least 2 things. Tell someone next to you 2 things that you noticed about the missions we just saw.
I'm setting for it.
Okay. So let's come back. In about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anyone brave enough to share with me something that you shared that you noticed about those missions? Anything at all? Because I know some things about those missions. But I would love to hear. Yes, ma'am. They weren't practical. All right. What's another thing you noticed about those missions? Anything? Anything in particular? Yes, ma'am.
They used a lot of buzzwords that all the and they don't even know.
A lot of buzzwords that are going on, and we may not even know what they are. Yes, ma'am.
We were talking about how if it includes all the children, it's not realistic at all.
If it includes all of the children, that might not really be realistic. Yes.
The one with the least words was most impactful.
Least words was most impactful. Very true. Very true. Now, yes.
I'll claim one of those. KISD is the, I think, the maximum potential. I think
Yes, you are. In KISD defense, though, I was actually very impressed. I can only take the mission part, but I love the way that you actually laid out what the graduate school will be, what it will look like, there's a lot more than just that. So you guys are rocking it.
The one that you have to be kind of broad. I know individually, you meet the child, you hear he wants to be an engineer, and then quarters and then that. I got that.
Yes.
So, engineering, I don't know what that means exactly. Maybe he doesn't either, but you know.
Yes, very true. It has to be broad.
My partner mentioned there's nothing about their mental health.
Nothing about their mental health. So take a look at this. This is what I noticed. Productive members of society. Learn to their maximum potential. Possess the skills and habits needed to be prepared for life and career in the 21st world that they will encounter. Serve, lead, grow. Assume personal responsibility. Become stewards of an ever-changing global society. Thrive academically, emotionally, and socially. I noticed all of those words, and this is the question that came to mind. What are the characteristics of people who do this well? What are characteristics? I'll give it to you. We're pretty good at rocking all those things, okay? We do those very well. But these words, when I was looking at these missions, popped out because the reality is when a district or a school is making a mission, it has to be broad, right? It has to be big because we don't know what's coming up. But they put these words in it, and I don't know if they recognized that they were putting words here that meant that math is not the forefront. They were putting words here that meant that English, ELAR, star, is not the forefront. They put words in here that were telling you what is the forefront is you. But see, we don't connect enough with our mission to help them see why your SEL is not an add-on, but is the whole plate. It's the thing. It's what is going to allow us to grow. It's what's going to allow a child to reach their potential. It is what is going to allow a child to be able to do more. It is what is going to allow child, teacher, custodian, cafeteria worker, counselor, principal, assistant principal, director, whoever. It's what's going to allow them to be successful. They put it in there. They put it in there. They put it in their vision. They put it in their mission. So why do we let them put us to the side? Why do we do that? So I do want you to take a few moments. I'm going to put that screen back up. But at your table, 4 character traits. What are 4 character traits of a person who does these things well? I'm going to give you guys about 2 minutes. 4 big character traits of a person who can actually achieve those things. you know, technology is what it is, right? And the rain came, and I thought, ooh, the rain came because all the counselors are getting together, and we know how to provide things that are needed when we see that you're without, right? We've been in a drought. And the rain came, but I cannot get my pole everywhere to work for whatever reason. It doesn't have anything to do with the rain, but I'm gonna blame it on the rain. So instead of us putting all of these into a poll everywhere, I'm just gonna have you guys kind of call them out. So just call out one trait that you said, hey, I think this is required in order to achieve this wonderful yellow list that's on here. Resiliency, okay? Accountable. Perseverance. Driven, motivation. Integrity. Socially aware. Emotionally regulated. Yes, we need that. Anything else? Yes, ma'am. A strong advocate. Confidence. Courageous. Support. Compassionate. Anything else?
Healthy boundaries.
A good listener and what?
Healthy boundaries.
Healthy boundaries. I don't know if y'all feel what I'm feeling, but it sounds like my whole entire SEL list. Anybody else notice that? All of the things that are required for the mission sounds like it's the character trait that I try to give out every month. it's the things I was trying to beg a teacher to say, please let me come into class and just for 40 minutes, please. Amazing. I'm begging for time, but the things that are required to achieve the mission are the things I'm giving. Are the things that I'm explicitly teaching either to the students, or I'm explicitly teaching to the teacher to teach to the students, or I'm explicitly teaching to the teacher so you don't do that with the students, right? It's those things. All of those things. Have you ever recognized how important, but not just important, urgent your program is? It's vital. It's life-giving. Life-giving. It is what pumps the blood through. Math is great. English is great. Everybody needs to know how to read. I know. I'm at an elementary school. Everybody needs to know how to read by the 3rd grade because they're going to take this big old test. You're right. Everybody needs to know how to read by the 3rd grade. But you know what? If baby boy is going to constantly just flip out and turn all my tables over still in the 2nd grade, I don't really care if he can read. I just don't. I need him to understand that flipping tables is not how you let me know you're hungry. That's just what's going on. He can't have life flipping tables. We want to say you can't have life if you can't read. But you know what? I used to drink that Kool-Aid too, y'all, because I was an educator. And it's more than just being able to read, because I've seen people who cannot read, but do have quality of life because they found support, because they found encouragement, because they found confidence, because they had humility to ask for help. Because they found later that, hey, it just takes me longer, so I'm just going to keep working at it. Quality of life isn't always going to be in the teaks. It's important for us to recognize you've got to get your admin on board. When we provide quality of life, we will achieve our mission, we will achieve our vision, and we will look like we have the brightest geniuses in all of the world. It will come. Learning is exponential. People don't really understand that. People want to believe learning is incremental. Learning is exponential. And I say that because of this. When I am whole, I can take in a lesson in one time. When I'm not whole, it probably takes me 20 times. Learning is exponential. What we do is more than on the side. It's more than fluff. I used to get so mad as a counselor. We're like, oh, you do the fluffy stuff. I'm not fluffy. I'm not fluffy. Like, I mean, I went to an elementary school, and that's actually where I met Crystal. I was a middle school person all my life. Middle school teacher, middle school counselor. I met Crystal because I went to elementary, and the children were like crying and running and like tearing things off the wall. I was like, oh my, no. I thought they came more prepared. They don't come more prepared. I couldn't take it. And my principal was like, oh, well, you know, go in and do those lessons and put up the big posters. And no offense to anyone who does that, that's your gifting. It's a gifting, okay? I'm just gonna tell you, it's a gifting. And I said, oh, honey, that's not me. And I'm gonna go in and we gonna get something straight. But, big pretty posters and all the like, that's not my gifting. But there was no difference between the last counselor who liked that and me, because we both understood we gotta make you whole. You cannot learn unless you're whole. Don't let anyone diminish what you do. It is how they get through to the kids, what you do. So, you noticed all of those characteristics. You said them all, you said them wonderfully. I mean, you almost went through the whole list. I don't care what program you're using, you got all the words. All the words are required. So, just to remind you, the workforce hasn't changed, because you know there was a big push when everyone was like, oh, we need the counselors. Because then all of a sudden the business world said, these kids, they don't know how to do stuff. Well, and it wasn't even like stuff, it was like, they don't know how to do life. And it's like, yeah, because we thought math was all they needed. Sorry. They need to know how to do life and work with people. So Google still says, out of the 6 things that it's looking for, teamwork, leadership, clarity of vision, and humility. Humility. Our kids need to feel confident enough in themselves to get lower and say, I need help, or I can learn from you. They need that. Our kids need to be able to see beyond what you just put in front of them and articulate it. They need leadership. And it was interesting to me because leadership is now kind of combined together. And it's not that they need to be able to be in charge. That's not it. They don't need to be able to be in charge. They need to have confidence, but they also need to learn how to bring in the skill sets of others and work it. That's important. Those are all things that are required. And you know the place that has actual lessons for that? I don't know if you know, but you know, last time I checked, it was in the SEL lessons. Last time I checked, Amazon puts this up on their actual website if you're gonna go and try to apply to Amazon. They say, we seek top talent from all industries and the range of backgrounds to join our office and operation centers around the world. People who succeed at Amazon have something in common. They are customer-centric. They are leaders and they are innovators. All the things that are not taught in the TEKS. Interesting. That's who succeeds. I'm not saying the TEKS are not important. They are important. That's how we get our accountability rating. However, Crystal told y'all it's very practical. However, at the end of the day, I don't know anybody who's going to tell you I graduated from Midway and their accountability rating was. No. They're going to tell you I graduated from wherever and I learned how to be, it's never math, never English. I learned how to be a leader. I learned how to mentor. I learned how to find myself. I learned how to deal with my stress. I learned how to, it's always something else that they're gonna carry with them. You are life-giving. Give quality life to our students. So here's the deal, here's the problem with most missions. Most mission assumes something. They're gonna assume something. They're gonna assume, and if you're the admin person, I have a pin on my actual badge that says, I am full of naive enthusiasm. Use it sparingly or wisely, like use it wisely. It's because I'm gonna make a plan, and in my plan, everything works right, okay? Everything goes according to plan. There's no hiccups, there's no problems. I'm gonna make that plan, and I'm just gonna go with it. And then reality hits, just like this picture. And in the middle is disaster. So what tends to happen is that we make a plan for our kids. We say they're gonna learn this, they're gonna learn that, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that, and then the reality is they may not be ready, they may not be equipped, they may not be capable, and some admin are very aware. Some admin are very not aware. I don't know where your admin falls, okay? Some are very aware, some are not. But I remember one day I was at one of my schools. I wasn't even the admin at the time, I was the counselor at the time, and they put in this plan for dismissal. They said this is how it's gonna work. And you know, in their head, it was gonna work because all you were gonna need was an email that didn't fully explain everything, because you're gonna know what to do, you're gonna know how that looks. And anybody been in a dismissal that was not clearly organized? Okay? You're just glad everybody got away from the building. I'm not even sure everybody got to the right spot. But everybody got away from the building. That's how it feels sometimes. It feels like that chaos in the middle. It's like, and then your administrators are like, we did it. Like, no, you started and you had an end, but we didn't do it. Okay? We didn't do the plan. It wasn't it. That is what happens. Most of the missions that we just saw, we have a lot of assumptions. We assume that the kids are ready. We're going to make a mission based off of the fact that the equipment is ready to go and it can endure the flight. That's how the mission is made. When someone is going to send a shuttle to Mars, they're making an assumption that the mechanics did it right. They made the satellite to last. They made the shuttle to endure. It's going to make it. Now it's our job to make sure everything else around it is being monitored. There is an assumption with the mission. So, most admin assumes students can be ready to fully achieve with structure and simple modeling. Yeah, we're just gonna show them. They're gonna be self-regulated because I'm self-regulated. They're gonna see it. They're gonna see me and they're gonna do it. That is some of what the assumption is. The other assumption with simple modeling is that it really only takes one lesson a month. That's simple modeling. That it doesn't have to come from every adult in the building. It only comes from a few adults in the building. That's simple modeling. It doesn't have to be something that everybody is constantly bringing to the forefront of the kid. Just a few people. That's all that's required. It just has to be something in the announcements. It just has to be something on the video. That's simple modeling. Because that little nugget is just going to be enough to drown out everything else that is not what you want them to be. That's simple modeling. So that's what they assumed. That's all they need. You know different. You know the truth. It's not simple modeling. It is almost brainwashing. It needs it time after time after time after time. And even when I mess it up, I gotta go back and look, baby, look, I'm sorry. That was not how I was supposed to respond. That's another lesson, another modeling, and time after time after time again. That's what's required. So here's the breaking news. Most students are not fully equipped for the full flight. Even your high-achieving students. Even the ones that are scoring masters, they're probably not fully equipped. Even the ones that are scoring did not meet on a regular basis, they may not be fully equipped. So, here's what's needed. SEL. It builds the student. Here's the key. SEL. Most of us, well, most admin I have talked to, I'm not gonna say most of us, because I don't believe that it's only at a certain level. I do believe this statement though. SEL builds a student, but it's all the students at every level. Every level. There is a foundational piece that is brought out between K and 2. And Lord is trying to teach me something because that is who I'm over right now. Pre-K through 2. Okay? And I already told y'all what I felt like when I was a counselor. Now I'm the administrator. Pre-K through 2. There's a foundational piece that is taught. I can never assume that a parent has taught it. I can't assume that. Because you know what? I'm a parent, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a busy parent. I love my children dearly. I do. But you saw all those things I juggle, right? So I do good to try to make sure we have some family time in. But I didn't sit down with my oldest, little Quincy, and say, this is how you deal with that stress, Quincy. No, I sit in school and say, I hope the counselor helps you out. I know you are. She's here. It's one of those things because how many kids get it from their parents and are going to hold on to it from their parent? I didn't hold on to it from my parent. Sometimes you need it from someone else, from an outside source. So it's important for us to recognize at the pre-K 2 level, they're getting this whole foundation. And then at the 3 through 5 level, they're learning how to use that foundation in a small capacity, okay? 6 through 8. Ooh, middle school. Middle school. We're building on top of that foundation, but we're expanding that foundation. Have y'all ever noticed that? They're expanding it. So they need another heavy dosing of SEL. Because they got new things like hormones. Okay? They got new things that we're experiencing in life. So we have to expand the foundation and raise up those skyscrapers from before. And at high school, we send them off like they're little adults. They don't know how to be an adult. They don't know how to be an adult. But the high school teachers treat them like they're adults. The school is set up like they're adults, but they're not ready to be adults. So there's a whole nother level of foundations that are being built for these kids. But is it? Is it being built? Or are we just piling on stuff and hoping that the aircraft is not going to fall apart? That's sometimes what we're doing. So, I want to present to you an idea called upstream thinking, because that's what SEL does. Remember I talked about this aircraft, and I told you that the mission is going to assume the aircraft is equipped. You know different. You know that aircraft barely got to school. Now you want it to fly. Okay, you know. So we have to be a little bit more proactive. So take a look at this clip after this lovely ad for Michaels.
Not long after they got there, a child came floating down the rapids calling for help. One of the group on the shore quickly dived in and pulled the child out.
Y'all hear that?
But minutes later, another child came, and then another. And then many more children were coming down the river. Soon, everyone was diving in and dragging children to shore, then jumping back in to save as many as they could. In the midst of all this frenzy, one of the group was seen walking away. Her colleagues were furious. How could she leave when there were so many children to save? Then, after long hours, to everyone's relief, the flow of children stopped, and the group could finally catch their breath. At that moment, their colleague came back. They turned on her and angrily shouted, "Hey, how can you walk off when we needed everyone here to save the children?" She replied, "It occurred to me that someone ought to go upstream and find out why so many kids were falling into the river. What I found is that the old wooden bridge had several planks missing, and when some children tried to jump over the gap, they couldn't make it and fell through into the river. So I got someone to fix the bridge."
Yeah, it's amazing.
Thing to just know that
Nobody thinks about fixing the children. Nobody thinks about making sure they're whole before we shove all that stuff inside them. That's what we do. We think about that. I thought it was funny when I found this clip that there was a lady that walked away. I was like, not that I have nothing against my male counselor counterparts. I love them dearly. They're a rare breed. If you have a male counselor, hey, hold on to them, okay? It's important. It's important. But she walks away like, look, you can't keep bringing me crying child after crying child after crying child here and want me to fix them one at a time. We got a bigger problem. We have a bigger problem. That is what you tend to do. But you get pulled. And you're like, I'm trying to go fix the big problem. But not this one right here. You gotta go fix this one right here. And you're patching children. We're not building a program to build a better system. We're patching up. We're doing patchwork. You know? It used to be counseling was like, you're doing the Band-Aid, right? Well, I'm sick of the Band-Aid, y'all. They don't hold very well, okay? They fall off. All right? We need to go back and rebuild. Figure out why they're getting hurt so much. So that work, though, that you do, it's called upstream work. And nobody recognizes how important it is until I read this book. It's called Upstream by Dan Heath. I loved it. I loved it because I finally felt seen. I was like, yes! Oh my gosh, yes! Because you have to recognize in your own right, you are an upstream hero.
What is a hero? Who do you think of when I say the word hero? A firefighter? A cop? A lifeguard? Someone who saves the day? But what about those people who keep the day from needing saving? You know, the person who came up with smarter building codes that reduced the number of fires, or the high school coach whose mentorship kept teenagers out of trouble with the law, or whoever invented orange arm floaters. These are all upstream heroes. They're people who keep problems from happening, but they rarely get any glory. In fact, their work can often be invisible.
Isn't that what you do? Day in and day out? There's no glory. There is Counselor's Week. I don't know about y'all, but I was always taught Counselor's Week is when you were supposed to inform everybody about all the great things. I said, I gotta work. I'm supposed to work more. There's not a lot of glory. We have to be able to rest in ourselves that what we did when we didn't have a problem is the glory. That we created a system in which the children are now being able to function at a high level, that's the glory. That the teacher is no longer making 50% of the class cry. That's the glory. Okay? But nobody's gonna come beat down your door and say, you did that thing. They're not gonna do that. So you are a hero in your own right. And it's not because, I go to TCA all the time and I go to the counseling conferences. Like, y'all still go to the counseling conference, okay? Like, I love it because, like I said, you're my people. 10 years in, you don't just give that up. But sometimes, I'm gonna be honest with you, in full disclosure, because we're all counselors and I should be my authentic self with you. I get tired of hearing about how we saved that one kid. I get tired of hearing about how Johnny needs you. Johnny, Sally, Beverly, Crystal, Ashley, whoever, all need me. They all need me. My skill set is not for the one big crisis. My skill set is for all of them. It is for every single one of them. The one that walks in happy and looks put together versus the one who walked in and fell apart on the ground. It's for both. It's for both. So I was like, when are we gonna get somebody gonna tell me about how everybody needed me? Because raise your hand, how many stories y'all heard about the one child that needs you, the one child that needs you, the one child that needs you? And you know what? That's not bad. But the reality is, every single child needs you. Every single one of them needs you. So, here's the deal. SEL is not a deterrent for suicide. Okay? I know y'all expect me to come give you all the stats and data points and how suicide risks are going high and all the children. You wanted all that. I know y'all wanted them graphs. Y'all have plenty of them. Y'all have plenty of them. SEL is for every student, maladjusted or adjusted. Every single one of them. SEL is explicit teaching for the continual practice of self that education provides. Education is a beast. A child going from pre-K through 12th grade is a beast. It gives them opportunity to exercise every single character trait there is under the sun. And if we are not explicitly teaching them how to do it well, they're going to find their own maladjusted way of coping. Because it's going to come. The practice time will come. But did we teach them? Did we teach them how to practice? SEL solves many problems before they're started. So when you're in your office and it's a chill day and people are looking at you like, what are you doing? You can be like, you seeing it? I did that. We didn't have no problems. I'm doing work. I'm working hard. You seen it. Don't feel like I'm working because you saw somebody need some tissues. You know, somebody who's like, oh, your tissues are out. You must have been really working hard. No, that means I didn't do my job well. Too many people are breaking down on me. If I'm sitting up and I got time to chat with somebody, because, you know, hey, I was working. That's what that is. That's evidence. You got time to chat too. That's evidence of my work. Okay? When your APs got time and they're not running around everywhere, you go, you're welcome. So, at the end of the day, SEL is an upstream solution. It's a solution. It really is. Now, how the state, TA, whatever, we done comprehensive guidance programs for forever, right? Then they say, well, no, you're gonna do this SEL. I'm like, it sounds like a comprehensive guidance program to me, but okay, you wanna regulate it some more because you wanna say you did something? Okay, whatever. It doesn't change what I'm doing. It's a solution. It is a solution. Now, did the state present it well? No. Does the state present anything well? No. So let's get over that part. They held true to who they are, okay? Now it's time for us to hold true to who we are. So this is what I want you to remember though. Upstream solutions, often they're quiet. This is from Dan Heath. It's quiet but powerful with ripple effects. It's going to continue on that extends across time. We should celebrate our upstream heroes, the ones that stop problems from happening. We take for granted looking at people save the day. That's what it's supposed to be. No, every day doesn't need to be saved. And if we need to save the day every day, we have a big problem. We have a big problem. You think about your house at home. You want it to run like a well-oiled machine where nobody's saying, mama, but I can't, but mama. When that happens, I'm like, I'm doing wrong here. Okay, if I can recognize that in my own life, why don't I recognize that in my work life? I just told a friend, they're like, how's it going? I was like, I'm not really needed. I don't know what that's about. Like, it was bothering me because I've gotten conditioned to being needed, to set the pace, to put out the fire. That's not healthy, y'all. That's not healthy. I have to be able to operate in a system. You have to be able to operate in a system so that you are able to focus on keeping it running. Because at the end of the day, when you have a mission control and you're going to control that mission, all the systems are going and you're monitoring it. So every once in a while, something goes wrong. But now you're free enough to handle it, and everything else is going on. So SEL and counselors are the upstream portion of the mission and the vision. You're vital. You're vital to the mission and the vision. Now, that being said, I'm telling you how to get to these people. Okay? Because you got to create the change. You got to get to the people who have the power. Not that you don't have power, but people don't see your power. They don't see your power. You have power. Every day I walked in my building as a counselor, I knew I had power. I hope you know how much power you have. I hope you recognize the level of leadership that you actually possess and can use it. Here's the deal. Most problems happen when you're trying to launch your SEL program is because you do not speak your admin's language. And your admin, they sure don't speak your language. They don't. Because they have to be very goal focused. That's the nature of the job. The nature of the job is accountability. It's scores. It's the whole system itself. It's how we're getting measured. That's where the pressure is coming from. They don't speak your language. But you, as a counselor who has sat many a times with different individuals, can quickly learn how to pick up their language. We do it every day. We pick up the language of the kid that's in front of us and be able to understand, oh, that's how it works at your house? Oh, okay. Okay. So when you bang it on the ground, that's what y'all do? Oh, okay. That means what? I'm mad. Oh, that means you're mad. Okay. Let's reformulate that language for here, right? We do that with our kids. We're gonna have to do it with your admin team. You're gonna have to do it with your teachers. You're gonna have to do it with whoever you encounter that you need for your SEL program to be able to be a full program. So, first off, you need to help them understand, hey, what I do, yeah, you put it in the mission and the vision. So are we gonna be liars or not? No, don't call them liars. No, but you do need to break it out to them. What you said to everybody, what you wrote on the first page of the CIP, the campus improvement plan, because nobody really reads beyond the first page. That's me. That's what you meant. Let them know. That's me. That's what parents think they're buying into. What I do. That's me. I mean, just think about the weight of that. Parents are buying into the mission, the vision. That's you. That's you. Can't really afford to be put to the side. Good principals be like, oh man, no. They don't know how to put it to the front, but no, it cannot be afforded to put to the side. So, you gotta be able to speak their language. Leading the Change was a book that I encountered, not as a counselor. Now, as a counselor, I had done a lot of counseling. I went through the program at Texas State, loved the program, and started counseling, and I was actually getting ready to go into my LPC hours. And I was gonna be an LPC and a registered play therapist. That was my trajectory. And then someone goes, I don't think you're supposed to be a counselor. And I was like, I think I'm doing this very well, thank you very much. Hear about your opinion. I had a lot of confidence in myself, right? They told me to try leadership. So I went in and I found this book. It was in my leadership program. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. How come this is not in my counseling program? And then when I went through my leadership program, I was like, oh, y'all need some counseling classes. I mean, one book was what I was like, why wasn't that in my program? But the leadership program, I was like, y'all want people to do what? You gonna tell teachers what? You gonna add more pressure to where? You gonna change what? Y'all need some counseling classes. So what you possess, the whole degree, I felt was missing from my leadership program. The only thing missing from my counseling program was a book. I'm just saying, put it in perspective, y'all. Think about it. We want to move people. Anybody ever read that Move by Cheese book? You know, the book that tries to teach you how to make people change. And I was like, you can't do that in a book. Good try. But it's a good book. It is a good book. It helps give a glimpse. But people who have done the work of change and moving people from one place to right here, okay? You know it's a lot of work. It's a lot of patience. It's a lot of walk alongside work. And the book doesn't give you all that detail about how many hours of time it's gonna take. So, this book, if you ever think about it, you should take a read. Leading to Change by John P. Carter. One of the things that he said in the book, and the reason why I'm saying this I needed in my counseling program, was this statement right here. The downfalls of programs. Individuals alone, no matter how competent or charismatic, never have all the assets needed to overcome tradition and inertia, except in very small organizations. Yet they only put one of you at an elementary of 600. We're not necessarily always set up for success. That's true. And the leadership book in the Principal Academy is telling principals you can't do it by yourself. I'm telling you, you can't do it by yourself. You can't. We don't have to wear a super cape. That's not how it works. And it's not modeling what we want our kids to do. We want our kids to pull skills from other people and connect them together with leadership. That's what we want. That's what we need to see. That's what you're gonna have to do. It's more than buy-in. It's ownership. Ownership. Don't get teacher buy-in. Buy-in is cheap. Well, and it's one of those things that when I bought this, and I'm one of those people, I will buy something at the store, y'all, and then when I get home, I'll think about the money I spent. And then you know what I do? I look at it, I'll take it back. I take it back. Buy-in means nothing to me. Buying anything means nothing to me. But you know what I'm not taking back? My house, because I own it. I own it. I'm not just trading it for the next thing. I'm not just giving it up for the next fad. I don't care if somebody else bought a 2-story house. I'm not gonna say, oh, I need to go get a 2-story house. No, I'm gonna fix this one. It's mine. I own it. Don't look for buy-in. Provide ownership. Ownership is what keeps people with you. Ownership is what gives people power to say, we don't need that, we just need to tweak this. Let's look at it again. Let's refocus it. When they're just buying something, it's a transaction, and then when they're done with it, they toss it. Or it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't fit anymore. But when you have ownership and you feel like it doesn't fit, you're either gonna try to fix it first before you go do something else, and you're gonna take a long time to really consider the next thing. So you have to get ownership. And you have to press people with power to leverage at all levels. Everybody has the power. Teachers, teacher leaders. And it's not always a teacher leader by title. There's a leader. Who has the power? Principals have power. APs have power. Some of your APs have more power than your principal. I don't know your setup, but you're a counselor. You know how to recognize power. You know how to recognize people that have leverage. Use those skill sets. So there's 8 stages of change. And this is why I said I needed this in my counseling program, because these 8 steps are great steps for you to understand how to build your SEL program. It's a program. It is not you giving lessons. You are not a program. You are not a program because it needs to function without you. If you were to be gone tomorrow, I meant like to a new school. I'm not wishing that on you, I'm not wishing it on anybody. But if you leave, You need to know it runs still. And whoever comes in your shoes can say, I see what's going on here. Okay? You are not a program. You really have to make sure that people understand that. Your admin team needs to understand, you are not the program. If you are the program, you're going to be real tired after the first day. And most of us are. Most of us are very tired. So the first thing to building your SEL program, and as you guys go through your breakout sessions, you pick up tools, and you see things, I want you to consider these 8 steps. Okay? Because there's no one size fits all when it comes to an SEL program. You're going to have to look at your needs, you're going to have to look at your kids, what are the trends coming through, what's happening. But these 8 steps fit for any size. Any size. Any program. I don't care if you're making it yourself or if you bought one. I've done them both. Any program. 8 steps. They're still the same. Establish a sense of urgency. That is so key. A sense of urgency. I put up there urgent versus important. Because if out of the 4, that's big. We'll all say SEL is important. No one says it's urgent. Urgent means it must be done. Important means, oh yeah, that would be good if I have time. I think it's something I need to do. I need to do. I don't have to. It's kind of like when you're trying to decide on whether or not you're going to pay the mortgage or you're going to pay, I don't know, some random credit card bill or something, I don't know. And you strapped, guess what's getting paid? My mortgage. My mortgage. I have to. It's urgent. We gotta have a place to live. Credit card, whatever, I'll pay y'all later. That's how we treat SEL. We don't treat it like it's urgent. We have to have it. Our kids have to have it. There is nothing else that is more important. They need it because more and more of the generations are getting less and less at home. They're getting less and less. And they're coming in and thinking we're supposed to accept everything because media shows them we accept everything. Media is a liar. We don't accept everything. Only media accepts everything. Only TikTok accepts everything. Only Instagram, only Facebook accepts everything. But in real life, they ain't accepting that. So it's urgent. You have got to get your admin team, your teachers, whoever you bring together to understand how vast this is for the success of your students. Then creating a guiding coalition. That's the power. You need a powerhouse behind you. It might be your principal, it might be your AP, it might be some teacher leaders. Every time I made an SEL program at any of the campuses I was at, I brought people together before I put the program together. Hey guys, what do you think about this? Give them ownership. I think we need to implement this. Tell me about it. They're my committee. I love a good committee, y'all. A good committee makes work happen. They don't just complain about what's going on. I love a good committee because we got tasks, and then you know what I like to do? I like to assign them to other people. Okay? I love that part. Okay? I like to find people's skills and say, you're really good at organizing. I am horrible at organizing. Can you put that together in a nice little timeline for me? I appreciate that. And you know what it does? It makes them feel like they own a piece. That's that ownership we were talking about. And if they put in 30 minutes making that timeline, don't mess it up. They're going to stick to it and they're going to tell their friend, hey, I wrote that. You need to do that. That's what we're doing here. So it's very key to build a big coalition of people. Develop a vision and a strategy. Just like the school has one, you have to have one. You have to have a vision of what a true SEL program will look like on your campus. You have to have a vision of what that would be. How would the students respond if it was working well? What would they look like? What are you hoping for? Because you have to articulate that to your admin team. You have to get them to understand, hey, when everyone is self-regulated, then the teacher doesn't have to stop so many times, so they're gonna get through this part of the lesson, and the cooperative learning groups are gonna work really well because the kids are gonna learn how to listen to each other and be able to actively do it and retain it, so therefore our scores are gonna be great. You have to be able to articulate a good vision to them and a strategy. So, communicating that change of the vision, this is where I fell down a lot of times. I don't know about you, I can't speak for you. This was my downfall because I got busy. I would get all the way down there to 4, and I would even sometimes skip 4 and try to move forward. But communicating the vision was my downfall. The reason that communicating the vision was my downfall was because I couldn't constantly send things out. I wanted to be that counselor that kind of stepped back and was like, I don't want to put too much on their plate. I don't want to give them too many things to do. And you're not giving them too many things to do if they understand the importance of it, or if you're showing them how to incorporate it, especially for teachers, showing them how to incorporate it in their actual content. That was big. That was big for me, especially at the middle school level. I would show teachers how to incorporate it in their content. Like, hey, this was the strategy that we're focusing on. Let me show you how to use it with math. Now, you can put your content in, but can you please use this strategy so that the kids are interacting this way and use these words when you're explaining it? Now we're helping each other. Now we're there together. So, in communicating the change, though, that's more than the email, right? It's not just the weekly email that you're sending out to the staff. It's that and talking to your principal about where things are going. That and it's making sure that your team that's together is talking to their different departments. And it's talking to the parents on a regular basis about how your program goes. And it's also ensuring that everyone, as you hear them through the hall, are using the terms that you all have agreed upon. It takes time to communicate that change. It's reading, it's hearing, it's seeing it, it's doing it. Everyone has to constantly be circulating around your SEL program. And I know that sounds like a lot. And you may only focus on one piece of a change at a time. Don't build Rome in a day, y'all. Okay? You may can only focus on one piece, 1 year at a time. That is usually how I would build the program. And when I presented it to my principals, it was like a 3-year plan. It's not, I'm gonna change all the SEL right here, right now, because I need to be intentional. If they see that you need to be intentional, that puts another piece of urgency to it. Because see, they're not gonna change everything in their systems all at one time. They're gonna be intentional. They're gonna build upon it. It's going to grow. So, make sure you communicate the change. Communication is what's going to remind people we're doing something different. Okay? So once a week emails sometimes aren't enough. Especially if this is a big change. Okay? It might need to now be your tagline every time you send an email. It's at the bottom of your email. Okay? So they're like, oh yeah, we do that now. Whatever it is. It might be the way you communicate to the parents. We have Parent Square now at our campus, and I had Parent Square at my former campus. And I'll tell you, as a parent, oh my gosh, too many messages. As an administrator, hey, I'm on my phone. Let me send this to my parents real quick. Let me remind you, because even a notification ding is an eyes on. It's reminding them we're doing something different. You might annoy them, but guess what? They're going to get the message. We're doing something different. We're going to do this change. Now, 5 through 8. 5 through 8, empowering broad-based action, teachers and discipline. This is where you start. What is something that I can do that most people can do all the same, all at one time? Broad-based actions. So as you hear different things, you think about What's that one piece like, ooh, this is something everyone can do this, okay? And then you'll start piloting the more intricate pieces a little at a time. But you do need some broad things. Or in discipline, this is something everybody can do. All the APs, there's only like 3 of them or 4 of them. All the APs can do this, all right? Give them a win. Then they feel like they're important. They are important, okay? I'm an AP, we are important. But give them a win. Give them something they can do that's a part of your program. Because now, not only are you thinking about your job, you are also incorporating someone else's job. You are showing them how we need to work together. We are not silos, okay? We're not separate buildings in a city of a school. We are all working one system together. Generate short-term wins. Figure out what's something that you can do really fast. So for me, when I was really changing the SEL program at the elementary level, I needed to figure out some wins, and the children loved Rachel's Challenge. That was the big thing at the time, right? Anybody remember Rachel's Challenge? Yes, and the kindness links. I was cutting cardstock forever. All the kindness links. So we needed some wins, and I needed some ways for the kids to really do it fast. So we come up with some competitions. The teachers, oh, they love that, because the kids were like, I want a new piece on this competition board or whatever. But it was a short-term win. It was something they could quickly grasp, quickly do. The teacher was like, okay, I'm in. All right, this is to take up a lot of time. Then I started hearing the teachers say, ooh, you should do a kindness link. And I was like, yes, you should do a kindness link. Consolidating gains and producing more change. Once you have more short-term wins happening, and once you see that they're getting the hang of it, they're getting the habits, then you can add something new. Don't add too many new things at one time. That would make the SEL program overwhelming. That's what makes it overwhelming for you, trying to hold on to all the new things. Once you have them do a few new things, and we're doing that well, that's when you can add something new. You can't change it all at one time. And then anchoring new approaches in the culture, in your campus culture. Some of the things that you're going to do is going to be a key point of the campus culture, whether you're going to do it with your staff, whether you're doing it with your parents, whether you're doing it with the teachers, the students. I would suggest, as you think about and listen to all your programs today and all your different things, one thing for each group. What is going to be one key thing that we are going to do as a campus to improve the culture with our parents? One, it could very well be, we're going to send them one of my programs had dares. We're gonna send them a dare, and I'm gonna religiously send that dare on this day, and I'm gonna check in on it with different kids. That's one thing. That affects the kid and the parent. Or it could be, with your staff, it's going to be, we're having faculty meetings every week. By George, 2 faculty meetings, we are going to do some kind of community building. One thing. Don't do 15 things. You're not doing the work just because you don't have a lot of things. Being intentional is key. And intentionality does not come in multiple things. It is finding the thing that is correct for you and your campus. The time you put in is what's important. Making sure that you are doing what is good for you and your campus. That's what's going to bring everybody together. The reason that most people get a bad taste for SEL is because we're constantly tossing in new things without perfecting what is going on. So we have to do that. So, speak their language. If you don't get anything else from me today, you gotta speak their language. That's how you're gonna get people to understand the importance, the urgency of what you do. Speak their language. And when I say speak their language, I mean sit at the table at the leadership meeting and say, this is what the counseling department needs. I don't care if you're one person, you a department. You're a department. Okay? You're a department. You deserve a seat at the table. If you don't go to the leadership meetings, if that's not how it's set up, fine. But schedule a time when you can show up. Because you should be at that table. I was at a campus and I said, they're like, so do you attend the leadership meetings? Yes, I do. I need to know what you're doing, and you need to know what I'm doing, but mostly I need to know what you think you're about to do. That's really what it was. I need to know what you think you're about to do to my teachers, to my students, and that's usually how I talk every campus I went to. The principal's like, I'm the principal. Yeah, but they're my teachers. They're my kids. Because see, I see them differently than you see them. I see them here, and I get to hear about how to see them at home and how the two marry together. And I can tell when it's not married right. Can he? Most of my principals were men, so no, they couldn't. But yeah, women are more intuitive. Sorry, men. That was not right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, speak their language. But here's what I want you to keep in mind. Use your skills. You can speak their language. Don't be them. You're not the administrator. I am not an administrator first. I'm always a counselor first. Most administrators get annoyed. Oh, she's going to take forever with that person. Oh, that teacher's not doing. Why didn't you write them up yet? Because I know what's going on. And I can see progress. Okay? So I use my skills. Your skills are unique. Your skills help you receive and leverage power. I used to talk to people and new counselors all the time about getting the yield of the authority. Yielded authority is something that you can have for a lifetime. Taking authority is very short term. Most administrators learn how to take authority. They take it from their teachers. But my work, they yield it to me. And then later on when I see them later, I'm not even working with you. They yield it again because of that relationship. I saw them. They see me. I'm not going to abuse the authority you yield to me. You've got to use your skills. So this is who I am. A counselor first and a leader always. That's who you are. You should be a counselor first. But the day you stepped into that position, you are a leader. The day you decided you wanted to work with other people, you were a leader. When you recognized that you wanted to be able to take on what someone else has and help make them whole, you became a leader. And no, they don't put leader in counselor. No, they don't look at you like they look at the administrators. Found that out when I looked at my pay. I've been out of classroom for 12 years. What you mean? 2 years. Oh, but you were a counselor. The best kind of leader. What are you talking about? I know, they don't look at us the same. But they should. They really should. So, here's the skills I'm talking about. Unconditional positive regard. Carl Rogers. Rogers is key, y'all, for everybody. Even if I don't know how to fix it, you felt a little better because I listened. It's key. Active listening. These are things people think that they can just pick up and learn real quick from a training. It took me years to really get some active listening down because I have to hear what you're not saying. You do that. You are key for the campus, for the kids, even for the principal. I've had principals that keep talking and the vision, I'm like, okay, wait, I heard you. And they talked for a long time and I have to go back to the campus. Look, this is what he really wants. He wants this, this, and this. Because I can actively listen. You are useful for your admin team and your admin team is useful for you. But you have to help them see that. Gentle confrontation. We do this well. We do this well. And people look at that gentle part and they say, oh, no, you're not really going to confront them. I'm confronting people, but I'm leaving them with their dignity. And I'm empowering them at the same time. See, we like confrontation. Confrontation does not always leave people with their dignity. And it certainly does not always empower them. to make a change. You have a skill set to make change happen and help people be better. Strong weight time. I started to put strong weight gain, but strong weight time. In uncomfortable silence. We don't mind it if nobody said anything. We don't mind it if nobody knows what not to do. It's okay. We don't get stressed out about that. People need that. You can help people. Oh, well, hold this meeting. Look, just let's think about this. Now you have a table, so nobody really has to talk anymore. And now people can process. And they're gonna look at you because you hold the table and you chilling. Because in the wait, things are happening. And we know that. Thoughts are being made, feelings are being resolved. People are working through something. Just because I don't hear you, I can see it in your face. I can see it in your body language. But everybody else doesn't have that skill. They don't know how to do that. And patience is a virtue. Okay? We have that. We have that. We understand that it takes time. We also have the ability to recognize change, actions, and thoughts. The reason I put actions and thoughts is this. Sometimes people still do what the habit is. You've talked to them, you sat with them, you sat with them. We have kids, still did this. But then when you talk to them, the thought's changing. Because see, thoughts have to change before the actions do. So we can recognize the win. When someone wants to reprimand somebody, you can be like, oh, you can reprimand them, but wait a minute. Don't take away the thought change. This is what I need you to see. This is what was actually kind of different. So we're making progress. You have an understanding of how people change. You have an understanding of how long it could take. If they're a maladjusted person and they don't have very good coping strategies, it's going to take a long time. It doesn't mean they're ignoring you. They just might be fearful. See, administrators don't get that training. They don't get to know that. They just feel like people are being defiant. And at the end of the day, there are some booger bears out there that are just defiant. Okay? Those are the ones we don't really want with our children. Everybody can agree. But there are some, they're just afraid. They're just afraid. And they need someone to help them each step, even if they're a grown adult. Understanding of similarities of grief and change. See, when someone's changing, they're giving up something. It's a loss. They're going to go through the anger, the denial, the acceptance, all of that. We understand that. Your administrators, they don't have that training. Now, some of them are very in tune, and that's a really great administrator, but that's a gifting. It's not training that they've gone through. We choose to walk alongside, not dictate to, and not walk on, and not walk away. We choose to walk alongside. That's how we were taught. All those hours of classes and trainings in that degree, all those hours along the kids and the parent, you the counselor for the parent, you the counselor for the kid, you counselor for the teacher of the kid with the parent, you're the counselor of the grandma, of the mama, of the parent. We walk alongside everybody. Understanding of environment and actions. We can see it. We can hear the story and say, oh my God, they were so afraid, that's why they hit them. And somebody else was like, they just wanted to hit them. I see this. This is a fear thing. Or I see this. This is survival. Hey, stop talking to this kid because they're still in their survival limbic system. Hey, they don't have any logic. You're using too many words. Could you please move away? Anybody ever have to do that? Okay? You gotta have that training. And recognize that when they were just, the Tasmanian devil and tore everything up, does not mean that's the same kid when they're calm. Don't punish them in that sense for grudges. People hold grudges. You don't. People need new freshness every day, sometimes every 30 minutes. Understanding the brain in actions. People go to quick trainings about it and they get some insight. Yes, but you have been through years. Your years cannot equate to a one-day training. It doesn't. It just doesn't. It doesn't equate to that. So don't let people make you feel like you're just the counselor. Like, I am the counselor, you right. Okay, so that holds a lot of weight. That means you need me. They need you. Administrators need you. I have never seen that more. I knew they needed me when I was a counselor, but as an administrator now, and I don't have the freedom to do what I was doing as a counselor, I see even more. I'm like, oh man, they really need their counselors. I go to my counselors when I'm there at my campuses. I'm like, hey, what's the program like? What are you gonna do? And a lot of them are kind of like, I don't know, because you haven't been empowered like that, and I know that. I know that you haven't been empowered like that. Most administrators don't come up to you and say, hey, I just want to sit down with you and see what's the program like? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna need to do? How are we gonna need to change that? Y'all fall out. They don't do that. Some do, but most don't. One, because they don't really know what to ask. They don't know what to say. They know we need it. They don't know how we need it. They don't really know how it's gonna get formed. Nobody likes to look like they don't know, right? So you can take the charge and make an appointment. Sit down with your administrator. Understand your administrator's vision. Because I just showed you visions and missions. You all in there. Hear it. And say, oh, if that's your vision, let me show you how my program can assist. Let me show you how that plays into this. You can hold a lot of power. You're more than SEL. You are the change of education for all students. Every single one of them. You're the change. How many of you think education needs to change? You are it. You are it. Because see, it's going to take you who sees all sides, all pieces, understanding how they all work together. It is going to take someone with humility and practice and patience to talk to people who think they know. You're the change. You're very much needed. Administrators that are good administrators will recognize when someone's got it, but they don't have. Because the one thing we learn in leadership, I don't have it all. And you put good people around you. You are good people. So rise. Rise to that. Take a stand, speak up, make a program. Make it happen for your campus. Not for just little Johnny, but for every single one of them. So, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay, how many of you want to have her come talk to everybody on your campus? This is Dr. Johnson's contact information. Her slides are in a PDF format in our Bitly, so you're going to want to hang on to this. There were so many key phrases, so many times I could see people nodding their heads. I mean, she is speaking our language. So Dr. Johnson, one more round of applause for her. We are going to break real quick. Looking down at your agenda, we have 3 places that you can go. Note that this is the bigger room, so if for any reason we have a little bit of shift and shaking for getting into rooms, it will be first come, first serve. We do have launching district-wide SEL in Lone Star. That's going to be down the hall. Travis is gonna have our Puppets for Prevention from Voice. Again, it is first come, first serve. So go ahead and get to those places and then stay in here for Crystal Robinson with MTSS. And then lunch will be on your own from 11:30 to 12:15.